what it takes to have a fine run today, and they're going all out. There you get a good up-close look at the Lucky Strike race team tucked away nicely in that 45-foot Apache race hull. The Lucky Strike race team. This is a similar hull that we just saw on the RDS race team, and in this rough water, these Apache race hulls should have a fine day. Mashinsky feels he's got the right combination of power and race hull for this offshore racing in these rough seas today, and Millinghausen's doing a fantastic job on the throttles. From Atlantic City, the crew of Millinghausen and Mashinsky making up the Lucky Strike race team. We wish them all the best in their hunt for a world championship in the superboat class. Now we come up on boat number 115. This is John Antonelli's brand new Spirit of America race team. This is a sleek 46-foot Jaguar powered by three 700 horsepower Carolina inboard motors with key caper outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by John Antonelli of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Robert DeCure is your navigator, and Jack Clark is on throttles. Spirit of America's open boat finished 4th overall this year behind Special Edition Hawk Marine Power and Mellon's in the open class. But right now, this is John Antonelli's brand new Jaguar race hull that he's brought out for this superboat competition, and it's looking very strong right now. You've seen some of the other competitions, so we expect some very tight racing overall in the superboat category. But John Antonelli, along with Clark on the throttles, certainly has what it takes to be a dominating week of racing for them. He feels very confident with this new race hull that he's got, and with those three 700 horsepower Carolina inboards, he's got the power that it's going to take to prevail this week in racing. But as you can see, we've got that rough water conditions, so it is a little tougher for some of these cats to slice through these big waves. But Antonelli has what it takes to get through it, so we certainly wish Antonelli, along with Clark, all the best in the Spirit of America race team from Atlantic City. There you see Antonelli coming over some big waves out here. You can see some boats moving very slowly right there in the background, but they are rounding one of the checkpoints. This is certainly a rough leg out here on the race course, as you can see, and it certainly limits the miles per hour that these boats can go. This is a tough part of the race course, so these crews and the boats must hold together. It's more going to be a matter of who's still running at the end, because we figure a lot of boats will be retiring today in these rough conditions. But John Antonelli seems to be charging hard in the spirit of America. Now we're getting ready for the start of the open class. That's Smoke and Hog, your pace boat, bringing the boats out. You've got some Italian boats right there in the front of the pack. Big fleet here today. As you can see, it's still continuing to be very rough race conditions. We've got the green flag, and the open start will also be running the storm course for safety of the drivers. Some of the Italian boats taking a quick lead. That one Italian entry jumping off to a fantastic start. Right with them right now, and here comes some of the other boats. You've got Mellons, Power Marine, Hawk, and it's a very large field right now in the open class. It's going to take several minutes for everybody to sort themselves out. Mellons on the inside. We've got Gary Johnson and Tom Russell in helicopter number 2 for freeze frame covering this start, while camera 1 is still out with the superboat classes. Some of these Italian drivers are much more familiar running in the rough water that they're accustomed to in the European circuit. So they've had more experience running in some of these rough seas. There's one of the Italian boats with one of those aerodynamic wings on top of his boat. To bring you the coverage of boat number 5, the Bengal Bay Club. This is a black 41-foot Cougar powered by twin 700 horsepower KSW offshore engineering inboard motors with Arneson outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Masakazu Kobayashi from Nishiki, Japan. Jun Kobayashi is your navigator, and Gus Falcone, a familiar name in offshore powerboat racing, is your throttle man, who is from Florida. The open class, the UIM1, I should say, is comprised of 25 boats. This makes it the largest class ever to run in a World Offshore Powerboat Championship. There's got some tough competition for the Bengal Bay Club here today. 30 Longi, Hawk Marine Power. There's many Italian entries. Lord Piana, Castella Bancia, Mellons, who we saw before, Marini Bianco, Warlord, Berguda, Bella, Bamorai, and many, many more. And of course, you've got chairman of the board, John D'Elia's Special Edition defending champion. Kaiser Systems is here. Gancia del Gancia is here, a very familiar boat. Power Marine, Italia Go, and many, many more. This is definitely an international fleet in the UIM1 class. And Falcone doing a fantastic job on the throttles, as he's done for so many years for many boats that he's been involved with. From Atlantic City and the World Champions from Japan, it is the Bengal Bay Club. Bengal Bay Club, still looking good right now. Now we come up on another UIM1 boat. This is Hawk Marine Power. It is a 35-foot Jaguar powered by two 700 horsepower Hawk inboard motors with Kike for outdrives. Driver of record is Mandy Fernandez. Mandy owns this boat. Today is being driven by John Tomlinson from Miami, Florida, who's also doing the navigating, and Mandy Fernandez is on throttles. Hawk Marine Power, they had a very good year. They finished in second place behind Special Edition in the open class this year, so Mandy would really like to overtake him in the World Champions. Right there you get an idea of just how rough it is. You've got 6-foot seas right now, so these boats are certainly taking a pounding right now. These boats accustomed to running to 90 to 100 miles per hour are right now running in the mid-50s, maybe approaching the low 60s due to the rough sea conditions. There you get an idea. Every other wave, they're definitely taking a pounding. The boats come off very slowly. You can't push it right here. You just get an idea of how strong these seas are. You try to get a rhythm as best you can. You might catch one right, but then you could hit one wrong. And that's what all these boat racers try to avoid. But as you can see, when you're going in the 50s, it's a little easier to control because that's all these open water ocean is going to give you here today. And Fernandez, very accomplished racer, is doing a great job on the throttles. And coming up on the outside of Mandy Fernandez is the Samurai race team. Hawk Marine is in a duel with Dirty Laundry, all the Italian entries who you heard before, and many of the other boats. Bengal Bay Club is also dueling with Hawk right now. The Hawk race team has had a very good crew throughout the year, and Mandy would like to extend a special thanks to Buddy and Larry from Hawk, who've done a great job, and Craig Barry from Cigarette, who's also lent a lot of help and expertise to making this a successful winning race team. Mandy Fernandez's Hawk race team has won the Gold Coast Cup Championship. That is a small series of races run in the Florida area for the '89 campaign. So Mandy is a champion competitor. He's got a lot of racing under his belt for so many years, and there's great runs with Dan Carrera and in his Hawk race team over the last several years. And he's certainly a great competitor and a good friend of everyone, as well as all the people here at Freeze Frame. And we certainly enjoy covering the Hawk race team, and we wish Mandy and the rest of his crew all the best throughout this week of racing in Atlantic City. The Hawk race team headed up by Mandy Fernandez. Hawk Marine enjoying a very fine run right now, and Mandy's once again is doing an excellent job on the throttles. We've gotten over race control radio right now that some of the boats who took an early lead in the UIM1 start are out of the race for rounding the Coast Guard boat instead of the checkpoint boat, so that is a tough break already for some of the racers. Right now we come up on Joe Mack's boat number 2, known as Dirty Laundry. This is a 37-foot Cougar powered by two 800 horsepower Lightning inboard motors with Kike for outdrive. This boat is owned and driven by Joe Mack from St. Louis, Missouri, and Smitty is on throttles. The Dirty Laundry race team. They're in a big hunt right now and a hard challenge with Mendy Fernandez's Hawk Marine Power, who we just saw, and some of the Italian boats. Lord Biana is there, and Castella Gancia as well as Mellons are dueling in the top few places right now in UIM1. However, it is very difficult right now to get an idea of who's in first place, second, or whatever, because they're strewn all over the race course, and we've had some boats disqualified who were previously in the lead. We don't have all of them yet, but we've heard already that SDA, Achille Motors, Kappa, to name a few, have already been disqualified for a wrong turn earlier on. So that is going to open up the door for some of the other drivers. Joe Mack coming up and passing Samurai. Neck and neck as they round the checkpoint, heading towards the next point here in the storm course. The seas are very rough, but Smitty's doing an excellent job of throttling nonetheless. Joe Mack coming in on the inside. He's come in on the inside of the race course, and he's going to has to go around and go back around that checkpoint. A tough break there for Joe Mack as he rounded that checkpoint. He has to go all the way around now, come back around, and resume on course, which he has done, and he's now underway. He's got some ground to make up, so he's certainly going all out right here. Smitty's going to put it down and give it all she's got, as best as this boat can do in these rough water racing conditions. We wish them all the best. There you see some of the other boats who is out, probably retired already with some engine or mechanical difficulties. Attrition will be high today when you have such rough racing conditions. Joe Mack's Dirty Laundry.